Mama, my show's on. The Real Housewives of MAGA Republic is on. Elon and Donald Trump are going at it, right? There's trouble in paradise. Elon Musk criticized Trump's big, beautiful bill. In fact, he has asked that they kill the big, beautiful bullshit. And of course, the media arm of MAGA, Fox News is what I'm referring to here. Fox News is coming after Elon Musk for saying this. Look, before I play you the video, I've got to say, ICE has a chance to do something generationally funny right now. I'm just saying. They could look into some of Elon Musk's immigration history. There might be something there. I don't know. But they've got a chance to do something really funny here. Like Elon Musk and Trump have actually been going at it on Twitter over the last few days. And I was initially just going to go through the Fox News thing. That was my initial plan when I was writing up this video. And then I saw the back and forth between Donald Trump and Elon. And I was like, well, this was juicy too. So let's start there. Here's what Trump said in his tweets. So he says, the easiest way to save money in our budgets, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. I thought those contracts were awarded on merit, Donald. Anyways, Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave and took away his EV mandates that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. Okay. Considering Donald Trump was gaslighting everybody and telling everybody that, Elon doesn't care about these things and Elon has no requests of him in terms of policy. Well, this is not quite in line with that, Anyways, of course, Elon has also been tweeting, as you would. He owns his own. This is what you get when you get people who own social media channels. They can just, so it's funny because like Elon can say whatever he wants and he wouldn't get taken down. And Trump has his own social media platforms. So nobody's getting taken down. This is going to be epic. Here's what Elon said. Elon actually dropped a bomb at some point in this. He was like, time to drop the real bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and that is the reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. I was like, ooh, he didn't just go there, did he? And there's now videos actually popping off of Donald Trump partying with Epstein. Which is like, that can be problematic.
The party shows Trump giving Epstein his personal attention.
Donald!
The footage, shot in November of 1992, before Trump opened the resort as a club, shows the future president surrounded by cheerleaders for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, capturing Trump's fun-loving bachelor lifestyle for an appearance on Faith Daniels' NBC talk show.
We're going to get great ratings in your show.
Trump is surrounded by women as music blares in the background. After a while, Trump goes to greet 3 new guests, among them the financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Come on in. Go inside.
More than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges. Later in the footage, Trump is seen talking to Epstein and another man as women are dancing in front of them. Trump alternates between dancing and pointing out women to Epstein and the other man and telling Epstein about the cameras. Though exactly what they say is difficult to understand as they discuss the women and their appearances, Trump gestures to one and appears to say to Epstein, "Look at her back there. She's hot." And then Trump says something else into Epstein's ear that makes him double over with laughter.
But anyways, there's a lot of drama going down. But I've got to say, pray for Elon, you guys, and protect him at all costs, because I don't want the show to end. Mostly because this shit is mad funny. It is great. It is must-see TV. To be fair, I wonder how much of this is Elon trying to make a clean break so that the left will stop boycotting Tesla. I wonder how much of this is just political theater, really. A fake feud, if you like. But you guys tell me, though, do you think this is real? Do you think this little beef that they're having here, the girls are going at it, do you think that Elon and Trump are legit beefing right now? But you know what? That's not what I had in the video today. But let's get into this whole Fox News trying to burn Elon thing, because that's what I actually intended to cover in this video. So watch this.
Peter Ducey is live at the White House with the details. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning. And President Trump thinks this is simple. He now says about the big, beautiful bill, so many false statements are being made about the one big, beautiful bill. But what nobody understands is that it's the single biggest spending cut in history by far. There will be no cuts to Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. The president's problem, though, right now is that he's losing some Republicans he needs in the Senate, like Rand Paul. When Elon Musk posts that Congress is making America bankrupt, Rand Paul writes, some of us are trying to stop that. And the president responded to Paul. He said, Rand Paul has very little understanding of the BBB, especially of the tremendous growth that is coming. He loves voting no on everything. He thinks it's good politics, but it's not. The BBB is a big winner. But the one thing that got everybody's attention yesterday here at the White House was this post from Elon Musk. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination.
Okay, so Elon says this bill basically negates the work that Doge was doing to reduce government spending and help clear the debt. Obviously, Trump campaigned on fiscal responsibility and getting the debt under control. Instead, this big, beautiful bullshit of his is projected to add trillions to the deficit over the next decade.
How mad do you think President Trump is going to be when he finds out that Elon Musk said, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it.
Look, the president already knows where Elon Musk stood on this bill. It doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it.
And last night I was sent by some sources familiar with the drama behind the scenes an article that appeared in Axios that says Musk was upset that the Big Beautiful Bill cuts an electric vehicle tax credit that he thinks hurts Tesla. Also that one of his friends didn't get picked to NASA, that the FAA didn't use Starlink for air traffic control, and that he was not allowed to get an extension on his status as a special government employee. Back to you.
All right.
Wow. Peter Doocy dropping the people's elbow on Elon here. Like, he basically implies Elon is only upset because the Big Beautiful Bill cuts an electric vehicle tax credit that he thinks affects Tesla. He also says one of Elon's friends didn't get picked by NASA. That's another one of the reasons he says that Elon's upset. And he also says the FAA didn't use Starlink for air traffic control. And lastly, he says Elon's upset because he was not allowed to get an extension on his status as a special government employee. It's almost like he just had he had bullet points ready for that one. It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. But I've got to say though, remember when Trump said Elon's business decisions will not affect his ability to work effectively with the administration?
You said that if there were any conflicts of interest with Elon Musk, you wouldn't let him anywhere near it.
That's right.
Doge and SpaceX employees are now working directly at the Federal Aviation Administration and the Defense Department, agencies that have billions of dollars in contracts with Musk's companies or that directly regulate his companies. How is that not a conflict of interest?
Well, I mean, I'm just hearing about it, and if there is, and he told me before I told him, but obviously I will not let there be any conflict of interest. He's done an amazing job. They've revealed, in fact, he's going to be on tonight, a big show called Sean Hannity at 9 o'clock, and he's on and I'm on, and we talk about a lot of different things. And any conflicts, I told Elon, any conflicts, you can't have anything to do with that. So anything to do with possibly even space, we won't let Elon partake in that.
Remember that? Well, clearly, if he is criticizing the Big Beautiful Bill purely because he's upset about how it affects his businesses and his friends, well then, right? That sounds like a conflict of interest to me. Also, that last part is probably the most obvious in this shit sandwich that Peter Doocy has put together here. So he says Elon is upset because he wasn't allowed an extension on his status as a special government employee. All right. Here's why this is absolutely bullshit. As a special government employee, Elon can only work 130 days during a 365-day period anyways. So that's part of the ethics rule. And I know Fox News knows that, because they reported on it when Elon officially stepped down from his role at Doge. But hey, that doesn't really fit into the narrative that you're trying to push right now. Nobody's going to fact check them, right? So the next part of this little segment by Fox News was interesting too. Here's a public service announcement. You're about to see a lot of mental gymnastics. Watch.
But when I look at this bill, if it is going to increase the deficit, and we're going to play a soundbite from John Thune that you had a great interview with him on radio where he says that's not going to happen. But you're getting so many other cuts. Donald Trump has said, if we don't pass this big, beautiful bill, your taxes are going to go up 65%.
Which is true.
These tax cuts happened in 2017. He wants to extend them, not only extend them, make them permanent. So I'm all in favor of that. I don't want 65% of my paycheck taken out or them to increase even that much.
Hey, pause there real quick. 65% of your paycheck? Does this woman know how taxes work? Like, she's on TV. She's actually on TV and she doesn't know how taxes work. Like, damn. Like, because someone says your taxes will go up 65%, doesn't mean they now take 65% of your paycheck. It means whatever tax bracket you're currently in, whatever you're paying in taxes, that would go up 65%. It doesn't mean they take 65% of your paycheck. Still bad. It's still bad that your taxes are going up 65%, but it's not the same as saying you're paying 65% of your paycheck in taxes. Like, geez, get it together. Anyways, let's continue.
I also like no tax on tips. I was a server for many, many years. Y'all probably were too. Many people out there look at Nevada. That's their livelihood. So I love that. No tax on Social Security. If you're living on a fixed income, we interviewed 1 million people in those
that's just
diners.
going to be tax breaks. They're not going to. You got to still pay tax Social Security. They're going to substitute that. For
I thought it was
tax
no
breaks.
tax on Social Security.
That was the goal, but they didn't execute that.
Okay, but it's going to be better than it was, right?
Right.
Okay, it's going to be lower. So that's what, when I look at the big picture, that's.
Listen to this lady go. I think she should go back to being a server, really. Like, my God. At least do some homework. Like, the dude on the right had to correct her, like, yeah, they will be taxing your Social Security, actually. And then she gives the most brilliant analysis I've ever seen on television. She says, but it's going to be better, right? It's going to be lower. I'm like, wow. I've never seen anything like it. The next part is where John Thune comes in. So watch this one right here.
Here's John Thune's interview on your radio show.
He says it's not going to add to the deficit. Listen up.
Will this lead to higher deficits? And the answer to that is no. You're going to get growth in the economy. And when the economy, again, is growing and expanding, you get more government revenue. Add to that the almost a couple $1 trillion in cuts that are in the bill, and you have the most significant reduction in spending and biggest amount of savings in history in this legislation. So, and if you look at CBO, Brian, in the past, they've been, they have a long history of just flat being wrong. They scored the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and the economy grew 5% more than what they projected. Revenues were $1.5 trillion higher than what they projected in 2017. And when the Democrats passed their so-called Inflation Reduction Act last year, CBO missed the mark on energy provisions by about 400%. One thing we do know is when we reduce taxes and cut regulations and have an abundant energy supply in this country, the economy grows and expands.
All right, John Thune, everybody. Majority House Leader of the Republicans. You should definitely believe John Thune instead of the Congressional Budget Office. That's sarcasm, by the way. But John Thune does well here for the Republican side. Obviously, you guys who watch the channel have heard me say several times that deficit spending by the government is really not the biggest problem. It is what they spend the money on and what that does for the economy. And what John Thune is saying here is that with the big, beautiful bill, the Trump administration plans to pay for things that will boost GDP, right? And that's actually a good thing if that actually translates, right? In the grand scheme of things, the question people have to ask is, will their projected GDP growth materialize while Trump is tearing up international trade? I don't know if those things can actually work together, but we'll see. John Thune also sneakily says they actually plan to make like $2 trillion in cuts. Like, that sounds to me like they're looking to cut Social Security and Medicaid for you guys. Interesting. And then John Thune finishes by attacking the Congressional Budget Office. He says they have a long history of being wrong. Well, I've got to say that's wrong, right? They have been wrong before, right? But they're not always wrong, right? In this particular case, other reputable estimators like Goldman Sachs are coming up with the same estimate that next year's deficit will be about $1 trillion. And here's what John Thune won't tell you, though, right? The big, beautiful bullshit disproportionately favors rich households. And of course, the Trump administration is trying to balance that with things like no tax on tips and overtime. I guess if you're in the lower tax brackets, you and all your friends only have one choice of career from now on. You all got to be waiters and servers, you guys. You all got to be waiters and servers. That's how you get ahead. Perhaps the most dangerous part of this bill is the plan to basically strip Congress of the power of the purse. And maybe equally dangerous is the plan to usurp the power of the Supreme Court as well. There's a hidden provision in this bill that basically kneecaps the federal courts. It says, quote, no court of the United States may use appropriated funds to enforce a contempt citation for failure to comply with an injunction or temporary restraining order if no security was given when the injunction or order was issued, end quote. So very alarming. The big, beautiful bill has a lot of people sweating. It is a very girthy bill. Like, it's over 1,000 pages long. Like, really, they could have done a series of small, easily digestible bills, but the Trump team chose to do it this way. At this size, it should take a long time if the right amount of congressional oversight happens. But in the end, I think what will happen is you'll see a lot of complaining, but ultimately Congress will do as it is told by their overlord. Trump will get his way, and you'll better hope that he's right on all counts. Otherwise, you're so fucked. Anyways, that's all I had to say on this. I just wanted to make this one real quick. I'll see you guys next time. Hey, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, okay?